I've heard people try to make the argument that Lord of the Rings is overtly Christian. And I hate to burst the bubble, guys, but you're just wrong. There's nothing overtly Christian about Lord of the Rings. There's no church in it. There's no faith in it. There's no Christ figure. There's none of these things. And honestly, Lord of the Rings, if it's anything, Lord of the Rings is overtly pagan.
Silence. Keep your forked tongue behind your teeth. I have not passed so far in death to bandy crooked words with a witless worm.
Greetings, all you dirtbags and problematic page turners. The religious right is at it again. In a time of great upheaval where we have war on the horizon, pedophiles running our country, insane amounts of fraud taking place in broad daylight, and an all-out assault on Western society and culture, they've taken up the call to arms against the writings of none other than the professor himself. That's right, Tolkien is for the devil, apparently. According to Jack Posobiec during the stream, Lord of the Rings is overtly pagan.
What? What the fuck?
That's just about the dumbest thing I've ever heard. This topic is so clearly outside this man's wheelhouse, he may as well be an illegal immigrant trying to drive an 18-wheeler on the freeway. I guess if there's not a one-to-one analog of Jesus in it, the symbolism just goes right over his head. Tolkien himself stated in a 1953 letter to Jesuit priest Father Robert Murray, The Lord of the Rings is of course a fundamentally religious and Catholic work. Unconsciously so at first, but consciously in the revision. That is why I have not put in, or have cut out, practically all references to anything like religion, to cults or practices in the imaginary world, where the religious element is absorbed into the story and the symbolism.
There's no church in it. There's no faith in it. There's no Christ figure. There's none of these things.
Let's read that last line again. For the religious element is absorbed into the story and the symbolism. Tolkien goes on to explain, with way more humility than I believe old Jackie Boy is capable of conjuring, how and why his faith was so ingrained into his being that it couldn't help but come through in his writing. He said, however, that is very clumsily put, and sounds more self-important than I feel. For as a matter of fact, I have consciously planned very little, and should chiefly be grateful for having been brought up since I was 8 in a faith that has nourished me and taught me all the little that I know, and that I owe to my mother, who clung to her conversion and died young, largely through the hardships of poverty resulting from it. That entire paragraph is a masterclass on humility and wisdom. Meanwhile, Jack, after receiving the backlash and being presented with solid arguments against his claim, puts his fingers in his ears and blows raspberries at everyone like a petulant child. Tolkien's deep Catholic faith shaped The Lord of the Rings from the start. His humility kept it from feeling preachy, while letting Catholic ideas soak quietly into the story and symbols. That's why the book is overtly Catholic in its themes of mercy, sacrifice, and hope, even without churches or obvious religion. The story's core themes are profoundly Catholic, not pagan. Humility and pity triumph over raw power. Sparing Gollum leads to the ring's destruction through grace and providence, not heroic might. The narrative rejects the will to power in favor of self-sacrifice, moral choice, and the long defeat of history with hope of ultimate victory. These are all hallmarks of a Christian vision of reality, including the fall, temptation, and redemption. Pagan-style self-assertion and fate are present but subordinated or shown as flawed. For example, the Valar, they appear godlike with powers over nature and elements, drawing from Norse and Greek myths, but Tolkien makes them subordinate angelic powers, the Maiar and Valar, who serve the one god, Ilúvatar. Yeah, you know what? I can't pronounce all the names in Tolkien, so sue me, okay? Names on the screen. They cannot create independent life or true being on their own. They can only shape what Eru provides, and they are not to be worshipped. Any attempt to act independently, like Morgoth's rebellion, brings disaster. This turns a potential pagan pantheon into servants under one creator, kind of like the Divine Council and the angels that joined Satan's rebellion. Saruman's fall and the will to power. Dude starts as a wise emissary, turns to domination, desecrates creation, and makes his own ring of power. Basically just got a little too big for his britches. His ambition and desire for control, which gives me Odin seeking knowledge vibes, leads directly to his corruption and defeat. In contrast, true victory comes through humility and mercy, not might or cunning. The rings of power themselves, these are the ultimate symbol of pagan-style magic and domination, objects granting godlike power and control over others. Using them always corrupts. Golem, Boromir, even potentially Gandalf. The story rejects this might makes right or fate-binding approach. The ring is destroyed not by heroic force, but through providence, self-sacrifice, and pity. Remember Frodo sparing Gollum?
Remember?
Like the content is obviously pagan because you have like demons and you have like a pantheon of powerful creatures and figures, which you to your point, like you just said, it's much more like Greek mythology or Norse mythology or Slavic folk mythology than it has to do with a Christian story.
Did bro really just cite the presence of demons as proof that it's overtly pagan? Has he read the Bible? Oh, Jackie boy. Oh, laddie, what are you doing? That's not even remotely true. Tolkien designed the work as a pre-Christian mythic history of our world within a monotheistic framework, governed by the one god, Eru, name on screen, though he's not named in Lord of the Rings. The lack of visible religion fits the setting while allowing the deeper Catholic worldview to permeate the narrative without didactism or obvious allegory. Using pagan mythic elements does not make the work pagan. Tolkien Christianized them. As a devout Catholic and philologist, Tolkien drew raw material from Northern European myths for his secondary world and sub-creation, much like the Beowulf poet adapted older tales. The Valar function more like angelic sub-creators under the one god than a true pantheon to be worshipped. These aesthetics serve a higher Catholic moral and metaphysical framework, transforming pagan motifs rather than endorsing them.
There's no Christ figure.
Contrary to his absurd claims of no Christ figure, multiple characters do in fact embody Christ-like roles in distinctly Catholic ways. Gandalf dies fighting the Balrog and returns transfigured as Gandalf the White, echoing Christ's death and resurrection. Frodo bears the crushing burden of the ring as a sacrificial act that saves the world, with the lambus bread evoking the sustaining Eucharist. Aragorn returns as the prophesied healing king. The hands of the king are the hands of a healer, fulfilling both kingly and redemptive roles. These are not crude one-to-one allegories which Tolkien disliked, but integrated reflections of the threefold office of Christ as prophet, priest, and king.
Tolkien and Lord of the Rings, you get these guys, you get these libtards like Colbert who like love it. And if this thing is like, oh, it's overtly Christian, I'm like, well, then why does a guy like Colbert love it so much?
What the fuck are you talking about, man?
I don't even have anything to say to that. That's how stupid of an argument that is. A libtard likes something, that thing must be fake and gay. Bro, shut up. Jack even had his butt buddy Joshua Lysett come to his defense with an equally brain-dead argument.
You see Christianity in Tolkien because you are Christian. Gay race communists see gay race communism in Tolkien because they are gay race communists. 2 movies on 1 screen. 2 stories in 1 book.
Bro, have you seen some of these Christian churches? My brother in Christ, what even is your point? The same argument you just applied to Lord of the Rings could be applied to the Bible. Does that make the Bible overtly pagan? Anyway, I don't know much about Jack Posobiec other than he's an ultra dork and political commentator, but Jack, sincerely, for the sake of the culture, please stay in your lane. And the next time you feel like chiming in on pop culture, let me share with you a proverb I think you do well to remember. Even a fool is thought wise if he keeps silent, and discerning if he holds his tongue. That's all I got for this video. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Please remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay problematic.